As you're aware, Prime Minister Modi arrived in Brasilia on a state visit yesterday evening after participating in the successful BRICS summit on 6th and 7th July at Rio. The Prime Minister, on arrival, received a warm welcome from the Indian community. The visit to Brazil is the fourth visit in the last 10 years by Prime Minister Modi to Brazil. In fact, this is the second ever bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Brazil, taking place after 57 years. The Prime Minister has earlier visited Brazil on 3 occasions. The first visit was in July 2014, followed by a visit in 2019. Both were to attend BRICS summits, and thereafter in November last year to participate in the G20 summit in Rio, all for multilateral engagements. Talking of today's engagements, the Prime Minister was received warmly by President Lula and was accorded a ceremonial welcome on his arrival at Palacio de Alvorada, the official residence of the President of Brazil. To begin with, the Prime Minister held a restricted meeting with President Lula, followed by delegation-level talks. The Prime Minister took the opportunity to thank President Lula for extending warm and gracious hospitality to him and his delegation in Brasilia as well as in Rio. During the bilateral talks, both leaders discussed the entire spectrum of the partnership. Let me try and list out some of the key areas that were discussed. It includes defense and security, agriculture, food and nutritional security, energy transformation and climate change, digital transformation and artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies, industrial partnerships, including defense industries, critical minerals, oil and gas, and also bioenergy and pharmaceutical industry, and also business and private sector cooperation, including trade and investments. They also had an opportunity to talk about healthcare and traditional medicine, tourism, space, science and technology, and cooperation in the area of digital public infrastructure. The two leaders noted that ample opportunities lie ahead for diversifying and expanding bilateral trade. They set a bilateral trade target of $20 billion to be achieved in the next 5 years. They also decided to elevate the level of trade talks and establish a ministerial level mechanism for monitoring trade, commerce, and investment-related matters. The Prime Minister requested the support of Brazil in expanding the India-Mercosur Preferential Trade Agreement, especially given the fact that Brazil is the pro-tem president for the rest of the year, noting that such an expansion can bring mutual benefits for both sides. President Lula conveyed Brazil's support towards expansion of the India-Mercosur PTA and instructed his team to work towards such an expansion. Highlighting the global challenge of climate change, both leaders reiterated their commitment to work together towards climate action and sustainability. Prime Minister reaffirmed India's support and wished President Lula success towards holding the forthcoming COP30 climate change conference in Brazil. Brazil's rich reserves of critical minerals, including lithium, copper, and rare earth elements, align with India's need for secure and sustainable resources to drive its clean energy transition and industrial growth. Both leaders welcomed possible opportunities for collaboration in the area of mining, processing, and refining of critical minerals. Both leaders also acknowledged the importance of the agriculture sector and its significant contribution to the economies on both sides. The Prime Minister proposed enhanced collaboration in sharing knowledge, best practices, and technology transfer in various areas. It was also noted that both sides signed an MOU on cooperation in agricultural research. Other areas of cooperation that were discussed, as I mentioned, include health and pharmaceutical sectors, especially on India's request for fast-tracking approval for entry into the Brazilian market for medicines that have been already approved by the US FDA or the European Directorate for the Quality of Medicines, EDQM, for imports of medicines from India into Brazil. The Indian side mentioned that this can result in cost-effective medical products in the Brazilian market. There was also a discussion on collaboration in the area of digitalization and digital public infrastructure. There was also talk about enhancing people-to-people relations and connectivity, cooperation in the area of sports and sports management, capacity building, highlighting India's strengths in cricket and Brazil's strength in football. After the delegation level talks, there was a signing and exchange of MOUs and agreements. 3 agreements were signed today and exchanged in front of the President and the Prime Minister. These were the agreement on cooperation in combating international terrorism and transnational organized crime, an MOU on cooperation for the sharing of successful large-scale digital solutions for digital transformation, MOU on cooperation in renewable energy. 3 more agreements are ready to be signed and will be signed later today. These include an MOU on agricultural research between the concerned bodies on 2 sides, agreement on the exchange and mutual protection of classified information, and an MOU for cooperation in the field of intellectual property. After the signing of the agreements, the Prime Minister was conferred with the Grand Collar of the National Order of the Southern Cross by President Lula. The Prime Minister dedicated this award to the Indian people and to the enduring friendship between the 2 countries. It was followed by a joint press statement between the 2 leaders. President Lula hosted a banquet lunch in honor of Prime Minister Modi. Over lunch, the 2 leaders exchanged views on regional and multilateral issues of mutual interest, especially on issues concerning the Global South and their determination to enhance South-South cooperation, including collaboration across all global platforms of which India and Brazil are members, such as BRICS, G20, IPSA, and also the UN. The Prime Minister invited President Lula to pay a visit to India, and the invitation was generously accepted by President Lula. I just wanted to highlight one point that I missed out earlier. On security and terrorism, the Prime Minister thanked President Lula for expressing firm condemnation and extending support and solidarity to the people of India in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack on the 22nd of April that killed 26 innocent citizens. The Prime Minister also reaffirmed that India stands firm in its resolve to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. President Lula expressed his full support in the fight against the menace of terrorism. Thank you very much. I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
विशाल
सर, मैं विशाल पांडे हूं एबीपी न्यूज से। जो एग्रीमेंट हुआ है कॉम्बैटिंग इंटरनेशनल टेररिज्म को लेकर, इसके बारे में थोड़ी और ज्यादा जानकारी अगर मिल पाए तो।
ओके, मेघना।
Sir, I'm Meghna Dev from DD India. I have 2 questions. First, on biofuels. What has been the talk on biofuels? Can you elaborate for us? And also in the pharmacy sector, are there also discussions about contract manufacturing that private companies in India would want to do here in Brazil?
Okay. You have a question there? Yeah, please.
Hello, Daniel Carvalho for Bloomberg. I'd like to know if you have discussed anything about Brazilian selling ethanol to India. That was one of the main interests of Brazil in this meeting today. And the other question is, President Lula made in his remarks some comments about Trump's announcement from this week. Have Prime Minister Modi and President Lula discussed that during the meeting?
We'll
Suryagni from INS.
Sorry,
So
please.
So the Prime Minister also spoke on decomplicating the issues with visa so that more Indian tourists can come over here. What is the status of the entire thing over there, and where is it right now?
Okay. So we can take these questions.
Okay, let me start with the question on counterterrorism and transnational organized crime. The agreement essentially deals with exchange of information. For transfer of persons and criminals, etc., we have other legal frameworks such as the extradition treaty, mutual legal assistance treaties, etc. This is for real-time or near real-time intelligence cooperation, so that one can try and deal with counterterrorism and transnational organized crime more effectively. So that's the thing. The text will, of course, be available soon. We'll put it out as soon as it is signed. The question on biofuels. Essentially, two kinds of biofuels, biodiesel and, of course, ethanol. Brazil, as you know, has a mandate for mixing ethanol with traditional fossil fuels. I think it stands at about 30%. India is also pushing a mandate on mixing ethanol with traditional fossil fuels. We have been talking to Brazil about their experience on mandating flex fuel content and trying to learn from their experiences in regulating this. There are also crops that are grown on either side which can be converted into biofuel. We want to try and see what we can do together to learn from each other's experiences, what kind of technologies are available on either side so that we can benefit from each other. President Trump's comments, there was no discussion on that, so I will leave it at that. We didn't have an opportunity to discuss that. Visa liberalization, as part of the broader rubric of enhancing connectivity between the two sides, we spoke about visa liberalization also, especially for bona fide businessmen and tourists. And one of the points that came up was to find a way to make it possible for multiple entry visa for businessmen who are interested in exploring the Brazilian market for enhancing trade. On the Indian side, we have significantly liberalized visa processes for businessmen from all parts of the world, including from South America. We actually have a e-business visa, which makes it much easier for businessmen from Brazil to travel to India for business purposes. One of the points that was made by President Lula was also that sometime next year there will be a business delegation that goes from Brazil to India to study the opportunities available, given the priority for both sides to try and diversify their trade relationships and investment relationships so as to enhance their ability to explore opportunities within the global south and also work together in various areas together between India and Brazil.